I think so.
You don't want to push me, Stu.
This Charles Barkley story with they have a guy on the
white
on
guy
the panel.
that said it's the biggest story in American history.
He said,
It's the biggest story.
He said, I just want to bring a white guy's perspective, and there were other
4 black
anchors
men there.
mildly reacted to it. I think it's the biggest story in American history.
I think it's the biggest story in world history.
World history. You know what? In the universe,
wait a minute. You guys are saying that this is the biggest story in history, the Cyprus thing.
Yeah.
And I say in American history, I think that the Common Core thing and how it's going to fundamentally change the relationship between you and the state, the state with a capital S, you and the state and the United States, dismiss the Constitution, change the relationship with your child. That can't be the biggest story in the
What about the disappearance of the cave-dwelling Paiute trout?
Oh my gosh,
What
that's
about
the biggest story.
That's the biggest story in
These
American
guys are
history.
dead. They're dead the next break. Thank you for describing it that way. I know on Good Friday it makes me feel all warm inside to hear you describe it that way.
But Glenn, that was you describing it that way. In a different
No.
voice.
You jerks. Okay. All right. You know what? Okay, here it comes.
You finally
All right, here it comes.
goaded him into this, huh?
Yeah, I guess that's the straw that
Here it
broke the
comes.
camel's back right there.
So I'm driving in this morning, and I see, what's it secretly like to work with? Like to work with Glenn Beck. What's it like to work with Glenn Beck?
Where do you
the
see this?
secret behind at glennbeck.com. The secret behind the scenes look of what it's like to work with the Tyrant Glenn Beck. Okay.
Yeah.
And I click on that because I'm like, I'd like to know what it's like to work with me on my own website.
Right.
And I click, and it's your two fat faces from the Pat Stu show.
Yeah.
And
And?
are you really?
What?
Are you going here?
What? No.
I don't even remember.
Folded like a cheap Jeffy. Did he not fold like a cheap suit?
Oh.
This morning I came in and
Well,
and
at
I'm
first
like,
I didn't know what you were talking about.
he was like, "What? What are you talking about? What?
I didn't know what you were
What?
talking about at first.
What?"
I mean, he's right,
Stu's
though.
what-
It's Stu's
Stu's-
fault.
It was Stu.
Stu
Stu
comes
was
in-
the instigator.
Wait,
of
what are we
this.
Right from the
talking
very
about?
beginning.
Explain
You're
what
like, oh, I had to get up 9 minutes. I couldn't have 9 extra minutes, and then I had to have.
Sleep. Remember
I
that?
had to wait
Just a
for
couple days ago.
Glenn.
Yeah.
I had to wait for Glenn.
Oh, yeah.
I was
Let's describe what happened that morning.
All right.
I woke up. You may know that I have a 6-week-old baby. The sleep is not always as easy to come by as normal. I'm
Believe
very.
me, I won't be able to forget your children because it is what has brought me hell in Israel because I didn't have one of my executive producers with me. And so I'll never forget that. And then I'll never forget the other child because it was the only time in our company's history that we had like a 16-month vacation because a guy had a baby when he didn't have a baby. But anyway, I'm glad the
Oddly, I took a
episiotomy is
16-month
healed.
vacation, and the baby's still only 6 weeks old, which is interesting. I'm not sure
You're
how
still
that,
on vacation.
Okay.
You're phoning this one in.
So I get up and I'm very tired, and I'm thinking to myself,
Oh, were you
this
sleepy?
is borderline like brain surgery. It's like cutting myself open to get out of this bed right now. It was terrible.
Hang on just a second. America, don't you feel bad? Because he had to get up and then get to work, put on like a sweatshirt, and then sit in a chair for 3 hours and talk about how pissed off he is about things.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Okay, hang on. America's,
Well,
give him a chance to
There's
recover.
more to
They're
it.
still-
Yep.
they're weak.
Take all of that in. Take
They're-
all of it
they're
in.
weeping.
And then
All right, go
stop
ahead.
and think about who I have to sit across from while doing that. Okay, so
Pat, did you hear what he just said about you?
That wasn't right, Stu. That
So
wasn't right.
I just am thinking, and I'm like, I, and this is what I said in the thing. I would pay $500,000 to press snooze one more time. That's the sort
I
of
can
level it was
make
at.
this happen for you.
And so I don't get to press snooze because we have an important meeting every morning, and we're going to discuss all the crap that Glenn's going to spout about during the day. And so I get in there, and I realize I'm on
And it's
time.
really, America, remind yourself, it's really early. He's seepy. It's still 6:30 in the morning.
Right.
And he's seepy.
Right. And I get in there, and what happens when I get in there? a 20-minute Glenn blabbing about something behind his closed door office.
So in other words,
everyone
hang on just a second.
on the
We
staff
had a little
has to stand
pre-meeting.
outside.
So hang
the
on just a
office.
second. So what was happening here was Glenn was in the office having a meeting earlier than you.
No, you were
I
having a
was
meeting when
doing-
I had a meeting scheduled with you.
Right,
You had
I
a
was-
separate
that my
meeting.
earlier
had a
meeting
separate
ran
meeting.
long, and little baby cakes outside
No,
couldn't
you know
handle
what?
it.
Don't worry about inconveniencing your entire staff so you can go blah, 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 blah about something that you probably don't even remember what it was.
I
now.
remember exactly what it was.
Tell everybody.
You were in the.
All I know is I was in both meetings. So
Yeah. So you didn't help at all. Is the point.
I was.
And you know what's
right
really
there with
sad? You know
Glenn
what's
the
really
whole
sad?
time.
You know what's really sad is when I looked up from this meeting.
You agree with me completely. It's on video, Pat.
No,
You can't deny
he
it.
was.
I was with Glenn the
He
whole
was. He's a bigger dirtbag than you are.
Thank
Stu.
you.
Oh,
Finally,
because
somebody
he
said
was
it.
in the meeting.
Yeah.
He was in the meeting, and he's
Right.
like, I know, Stu, isn't it crazy? And Glenn's like, does this, and it's crazy. And I'm watching this video, and I'm like, you backstabbing Brutus.
So you're really mad at me?
Yes, of course he
That's
is.
what it comes down to.
Yeah, I'm just going to
That's what it comes
chastise
down to.
him. Today's your last day. And you know what's really bad is as soon as that started and you were like, and you said, let me tell you something. Glenn was having this meeting, and I'm like, oh crap, I know what meeting that was. And I looked up in that meeting and I saw Tiffany and you sitting there, and you didn't have an expression on your face. You guys were just really being really cool. And I look up and I'm like, man, it must suck to work for me. I am so sorry. We got to end this meeting. And so I ended the meeting. I'm like, come on in, guys. And I was going to say something, and I got distracted. And I saw him like immediately feeling bad. I'm like, oh, geez, I knew it. I should have said something. And then I heard you, and my doggy was so warm on my feet. And I just couldn't handle it because I had to have my warm little puppy dog. I just wanted to just snuggle with her for a while. I'm having a 3 a.m. meeting. Just you and me. All right, here's our...